Namaste. 8 years ago, my mother wrote a letter to me. The letter is in Hindi, so I will translate it for you. And I've never shown this letter to anyone, so this is the first time ever that I'm showing it to everybody now. uh, the letter, it says, Chiranjeevi Sanu. Sanu is my nickname. Sada khush raho means be always blessed. Tum kaise ho? How are you? I'm proud that I have a son like you. When you say that money is not important in life, then I feel really bad. Son, money is a very important thing in life because first of all, we have to arrange marriage for Sikha. Shikha is my sister, my youngest sister. And then we have to help get Sunny settled. Sunny is my younger brother. And then we have to build our house. Our first house, we don't have house. We have to build our first house. So I have a full faith in you that you will definitely go to America, and that this is the dream of your unfortunate mother, that your sister, Sikha, will get married to a nice guy, and that we have our own house. What do you think? Blessings to all three of you, your mother, Sumit Karn. I was born in a very small village in India. The current literacy rate of my entire state is 64%. So you can imagine the quality and condition of education 23 years ago. In my village, there was no electricity, so I used lanterns to read books. I walked approximately 5 to 6 miles every day to go to school, to attend school. At school, we didn't have tables or benches, so I had to carry bora. Bora is a plastic-made rug. I had to carry that in my backpack, so I could take that to school and sit on that rug, that plastic-made rug. Receiving an education has always been a distant dream for me since childhood. Despite all these hurdles, last year, I finished my bachelor's degree from Washington State University here in Everett campus. And thank you. And I'm about to choose where I'll be pursuing my master's degree. Although I have applied at several universities, I have already received acceptance letter from 2 of the highly ranked universities, including George Washington and University of Chicago, to study education policy. What I have been through in life, it's different. It's hard, and it will be hard for me to explain to all of you that how much I feel, what I feel. There have been so many people who have supported me in my journey, and they continue to supporting me to become the man I imagine. I was 5 years old, only 5 years old, when my father departed to heaven. My mother, who was 22 years old, widow back then, she was supposed to remain in a perpetual state of mourning for the rest of her life. Back then in India, widows were not treated like people, like you and I. They had to wear white clothes. They were not allowed to wear any other colorful clothes. They were not allowed to eat meats. They were expected to remarry someone in the family. However, the epitome of bravery, my mother, she wanted to give her 3 children a better life. So she left one place she knew as home and fled to Nepal, a nearby country. She worked multiple menial jobs just to keep food on the table for me and my 2 younger siblings. Growing up in the shadow of Mount Everest, I can vividly remember the room that we lived in. It was 12 by 10 feet room. We had a kitchen in one corner. In that kitchen, we had a stove and some utensils and some spices. And in another corner, we had an almirah. Almirah is like a rack where we keep clothes. So another corner, we had that almirah. And then we would sleep in the another corner, all 4 of us. We slept mostly on the floors because we didn't have money to buy the bed. That's it. There was nothing else in that room. I've never seen my father, or I don't even remember the face of my father. But I do remember my mother skipping meals several times so we could eat, me and my two younger siblings. Maybe it wasn't expected, but I found my first mentor in my mother. From her, I learned the values of life. I learned about bravery. I learned about courage. I learned what it means to stand up for yourself, to work hard for what you wanted in life. At the age of 16, I became the primary breadwinner of my house, taking care of my mother, putting through both of my younger siblings to school, colleges, universities, and now my youngest sister, she's finishing up her master's degree in May. So today, I want to share about three other mentors in my life who have made an impact, who have made a tremendous impact on my life. And they have inspired me to serve others, to continue to serve others. It may not seem to you to mentor someone or even become a mentor. But I hope you will realize the value of the commitment today. It changes so much, mentorship. It changes so much. My first mentor, I met him when I moved to Delhi in 2008. His name is Ajay Sahai. He left the lavish life of diplomatic life to create change in the slum areas in India. For 3 years, Ajay and I, we taught English and mathematics to impoverished women and children in different slums in India. And then we also helped enroll several students to high school, to primary school, to middle school, and help women learn their rights. From Ajay's selflessness, I learned that growth through sacrifice is in fact no sacrifice at all. That is, that selflessness in the service of others, even at the cost of one's own personal comfort, is noble. I met my next mentor in a place I would have never expected. Maybe I was naive. Let me tell you of Nisha. Nisha was an 11 years old girl, and I was 5 years older than her back then, so I was 16. And so Ajay and I had created a study group in a slum called Anna Nagar slum in New Delhi. In that slum, Nisha used to come to study English and mathematics. She had an unbridled passion for knowledge. And so we recognized this, me and Ajay, we both recognized this. And so we enrolled her to a middle school, and she went on to a school, and Ajay and I, we went on to help other children to different slum areas. In 2012, I received a scholarship, Fulbright scholarship, to come to the United States. So I came to the United States, and Nisha became someone who had come and gone in my life 2 years ago, a little less than 2 years. On 27th May 2018, I received a message on Facebook from a girl named Nisha saying that, "Hi, brother, I'm Nisha, and I don't know if you remember me, but I was at the Anna Nagar slum, and she told me that she had moved out of the Anna Nagar slum. Now she works for a multinational IT company in Delhi, and she rents an apartment in a place called Lakshmi Nagar, where she lives with her parents." That day, I realized the value of a simple act. I would have never imagined what a simple act could make a change in someone's life. That day, I became an advocate of mentorship. Since that day, I have been mentoring hundreds of students through different nonprofit organizations, including a nonprofit that I started, Pacific Willow, and another nonprofit that I'm currently working with called Freedom English Academy, and where I mentor a group of students one at a time. And so, since then, I've become. With her sheer persistence, she changed her life and mine. From Nisha, I learned that gratitude reciprocates, that giving gives back. I met my third mentor when I was working for a project called Ananya Thirsai with Gates Foundation. I was in Bihar, and Sunita, at first instance, she seemed really shy, but little did I know that she was a change maker. Sunita, like many other women in these areas, did not have toilet in her home. So she would have to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and go to a field to defecate or to relieve herself. The dark walk to field brought the dangers along too, because the bad elements of the society would consider it an opportunity to harass these women. I learned that issue stemmed not only for the lack of toilets, but a far bigger barrier, a cultural unacceptance to use these utilities. See, having a temple in these areas is as common as having a kitchen in America. So having a toilet in your courtyard was considered unclean and unholy. Despite knowing the fact that it may be dangerous to her life or her husband will divorce her, she decided to stand against her own family and the whole community. She did not just stand up to build her first ever toilet, and we supported her as the Gates Foundation people. We supported her to build her first ever toilet. She did not just stand up against her own family, but she also inspired many other women in the area to stand up and build their toilet. From Sunita, I learned that first one through the wall burdens the most impact. That nothing is impossible if you're willing to accept the scars to see it through. In my life, I've realized that we all need mentors. Mentorship transcends age, color, sex, gender, class, or any other thing, any other constructed system that we choose to recognize. We can be 60 or we can be 16. A cultured man with fortunate circumstances, sacrificing for the benefit of others. A child against all odds, persevering to to raise up an entire family. Or a woman fighting against the whole society to have that toilet. We can all have a mentor, and we can all mentor someone. We just have to search with the right intention to see with the right lens. I imagine that I will seek out mentors for the rest of my life, as much as I will seek to mentor. So if I could leave you with something today, I would just like to tell you that mentors change lives. They really do change lives. In the audience, I see some young people, some a little more mature. I urge you to go find just 2 mentors or mentees. One who can steer your career in the right direction, and one who can steer your emotions towards positiveness whenever you're feeling low in your life. And try to be that to someone else, because gratitude reciprocates. That giving gives back. When you mentor someone, you will find that you're not changing the lives of just that person. You're changing the lives of many people who are associated with that person. Many, many people. My mentors, like Sunita, like Ajay or Nisha, they have not just changed my life. Or my mentors, many of them who are actually sitting here, Kathy, Joanne, Robert, they have not just changed my life, but the lives of my family, my friends, or anyone to whom I will impact. Because if we create a community of mentors, we will create a community of trust. And in any community, every member needs that just one push or a lift up from the people we trust. So let's create a community, and we will create a community of selfless service and reciprocal gratitude and indelible courage. Thank you.